A Michigan courtroom, a quiet Monday afternoon, but behind the calm, a homicide case that refuses to stay silent.
And I've got my first witness of the day, Deputy Barabbas.
All right, come on up, sir. Come forward and be sworn.
You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony about to give us state and spell your first and last name for the record.
My name is Deputy Frank Barabbas, Frank-Barabbas.
Inquire.
Thank you, Deputy Barabbas. Thank you for being here today. We've got your name, your current employment.
Oh, my name is Deputy Barabbas, currently working for the Washington County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, and how long have you been so employed?
I have been employed here now for 3.5 years.
Okay, and were you working in that capacity with the Washington County Sheriff's Department on June 22nd of 2022?
Correct, yes, sir.
And what was your assignment that day? You said patrol.
That assignment was just standard.
Is there a particular time, shift time that you were working?
What they call the noon or the swing shift. I was from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m.
I guess, were you working with anybody on that date and time?
At that time in question, I was in training. I was working with Deputy Navy Lewis.
Okay. And when I say working with, are you sharing a vehicle with Deputy Lewis?
I'm in the driver's seat and Deputy Lewis is in the passenger seat.
During that shift, at some point in time, did you have the opportunity to go to 1155 South Harris?
Correct. So when we were out on patrol, we were dispatched. Dispatch came over the area advising of an incident at 1155 South Harris Road, and we proceeded to the location.
What was the nature of the incident that you were dispatched to?
Was for a possible gunshot victim, someone lying down in Village Grove Apartments with that was what.
I was going to ask, does that 1155 South Harris address, does that have another more common name?
My apologies. It is also known as Village Grove Apartments.
Thank you. Do you recall what time of day this is happening?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it happened after 4:30 p.m. or around that time.
So early on into your shift.
Correct.
Okay. Did you end up responding to that complex, that Village Grove
I
area?
did, sir. I was first on scene.
Is that within Ypsilanti Township?
Correct.
Okay. And when you got to the complex, there's only a common entrance into that Village Grove, right?
Correct.
In regards to that common entrance, that's kind of like centrally located amongst the entire complex, is that right?
Correct.
And where did you respond when you got to Village Grove?
When I got to Village Grove, I responded to the left side of, if you pulled in, if you're looking in, you pulled in, I went to the left. There's a little median there kind of blocking some of these apartments. And I responded to that block of apartments on that side.
Okay. And when you got there, what did you see?
When I got there, I immediately saw a bunch of people kind of around and frantic. Went to my patrol vehicle, based off the nature of the call, grabbed my medical supplies and proceeded. When I proceeded to where all these people were standing, I saw a bunch of people standing by and a subject lying on the ground in the grass of the complex.
What did that individual that was laying down on the ground, what was his condition as you were able to
When I got
perceive
there,
it?
he was not a medical doctor, but in my opinion, he was in bad shape. He saw that he had sustained some kind of head trauma. He was very bloody. There was a bunch of blood on the ground as well, and he was struggling to move and kind of just grunting.
Okay. Making those observations, what treatment, if anything, did you and Deputy Lewis try to administer?
Me and Deputy, based off the nature of the subject, we believe that he sustained some kind of head injury based off blood. So we began trying to treat and locate the wound.
When you first found him laying on the ground, was he wearing any kind of face covering?
Yes, he had some kind of black covering around his face that we had to take off.
Okay, so that was removed from his person. And to the best of your knowledge, after it was removed, did you just leave it there?
I believe we just set it up to the side.
While you and Deputy Lewis are tending to the individual, well, first of all, any characteristics that you can give us about the subject that was involved, about the person on the ground?
Younger looking, kind of just moving around. He was still up. His eyes were open. He was kind of breathing. He ended up vomiting while we were there, and he was just kind of just moving around a bit, but
Sure. But in terms of physical characteristics, was he black male, white male, something different?
potentially black male, younger, curly hair, dark curly hair, probably taller.
Okay.
At least, I remember, and we probably was a taller kid.
Okay. Lighter skin, darker skin.
He was light skinned.
Okay. All right. And at some point in time, while you and Deputy Lewis are tending to him, did HVA or some other EMT arrive?
Correct. Fire and Ypsilanti Township Fire and HVA arrived roughly around the same time.
Okay. And how quickly after you guys get there, how much time progresses till they get there?
Less than 10 minutes.
Okay. They show up. I presume they take over tending to him. And where did you end up going after they take over tending to the young man?
So my partner, Deputy Lewis, rode in the ambulance with the subject, and I followed in the patrol vehicle, and we proceeded to St. Joe's Mercy Hospital.
Okay.
Trinity Health.
Sure. At that time, did you have any idea of who the individual was on the ground?
No.
Okay.
You know, they use more such.
Okay. All right. Just a moment. Okay. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Cross-examination.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may step down. Thank you, Jim.
If he may be excused.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, this witness is.
I'm going to go retrieve Deputy Montgomery.
Sergeant, come here.
Thank you.
You're all set? Okay, good enough. Who did? File a report. Sir, please come forward to be sworn.
So you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? See. States your first and last name for the record.
Joseph Montgomery, JOSEPH-MONTGON.
You may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Deputy Montgomery or Sergeant Montgomery, I'm sorry. Thank you for being here. We got your name. What's your current employment?
I am a sergeant in the Washington Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you been so employed?
17 years.
17 years. In that capacity, were you working on June 22nd, 2022?
I was.
Did you end up going to, I'm just going to call it Village Grove, the Village Grove apartment complex?
I did.
Okay, and that's located at 1155 South Harris Road, within Ypsilanti Township. Thank you. What time of day did you end up getting there?
About 16:30 to 4:30 p.m.
Okay, and do you recall why you were dispatched out to that location?
Yeah, there was a Oliver dispatch over the radios and shooting there.
Okay, and when you got there, were other deputies already on scene?
Yes.
Do you recall who was already there?
There was Barabbas and Lewis who were providing medical care for the victim up and down. Sirianni, Tariq were also there, and there's many deputies kind of running about.
I'm sorry, you said Sirianni, Sirianni,
Correct.
and
In Qatar.
Qatar?
Yeah.
Nice.
HATTHER.
Okay, thank you. All right, when you get there and the other deputies are there, did you have an opportunity to see whether there was anybody who looked as if they were injured?
Yes.
Okay, what did you see when you got there?
So a young black male was on the ground, had some clear injury to his head, and a couple of deputies, again, Barabbas and Lewis, were providing some medical care for. He was making a moan, so.
Okay. How did he appear to look to you?
Not well, I call it critical.
Okay. At some point while you're there, did HVA or EMT, Ypsi Fire come and take that individual from the from the scene?
Yes, he was transferred.
At some point in time, did you later come to know the identification of the person who you saw on the ground?
I did.
Okay, and who's that?
Gordon.
Okay, so if I say, did HVA
Lawyers shuffle papers. Witnesses wait outside. The court prepares to hear testimony that will decide whether a man stands trial for murder.
did HVA in Ypsi Township take Sean from the scene?
Yes.
Okay. After Mr. Longoria leaves, what then becomes your primary role at the scene?
Start passing out assignments. I people do a canvas photograph. We secure the scene, check the band, take the videos.
Securing the scene, taping off the area?
Yeah, use video.
Okay. Do you also then start looking for any evidence of a crime? Okay. What did you find well, are you the one that's going to be responsible for taking all the photographs of anything that gets collected?
It was shared between me and Deputy Roberts, not Detective Roberts.
Okay. And did you also have an opportunity to view everything that Deputy Roberts viewed?
Yes.
Okay. Let's turn, Sean leaves the scene. Did you find and photograph anything that was located near his person?
Yeah, there's a cell phone, there's like a black, I guess I refer to it as ski mask, or some kind of like face covering. There's like a fake pen
Okay.
and some like a lanyard with like keys on.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, if I may approach with people who propose exhibits 1 and 2. And I'm sorry if I keep calling you Deputy Montgomery, my apologies. Okay, Sergeant Montgomery, I've handed you what's been marked as people's proposed exhibits 1 and 2. Do you recognize each of those items?
Yes.
And what are those photos of?
That is the area where Sean Longoria was laying, a black ski mask, fake pen, and
Okay. And are those fair and accurate copies of photographs that you took?
yes, sir.
Okay. And if, Your Honor, unless there's any voir dire or objection on the issue, I'm going to move to admit people's proposed exhibits 1 and 2.
Any objection or order?
No objection.
Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Did you or any of the other officers find anything else of immediate evidentiary value in the middle of this area?
Yeah, there was also a spent showcase.
Okay. Is that consistent with why you were sent out there?
Makes sense.
Okay. And what did you do when this casing was found?
Mark photograph.
Okay. And how did you mark it? And what evidence, if you recall, did you end up marking it with? Okay. As in Montgomery?
Yes.
Okay. Those. Your Honor, if I may approach with people's proposed exhibits 3 and 4.
Me.
I just handed you what's been marked as people's proposed exhibits 3 and 4. Do you recognize each of those items?
Dude,
Okay. And what are those photos of?
that would be the showcase and the like same.
Okay. And I believe, so 3 is at the scene? Is that right? Is 4 taken at a later time?
It is.
And where's that taken at?
That was taken by Deputy Roberts, but it was in our forensic lab.
Okay. All right. Are those fair and accurate copies of the casing that was recovered from, I'm going to call it Village Grove?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this point in time, I'm going to move to admit people's proposed exhibits 3 and 4.
Any objection or order?
No objection.
All right.
I'm going to ask you if you could just show exhibit
Excuse me,
3.
Exhibits 3 and 4 are admitted. Now go on.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Thank you. I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, could you just hold up exhibit 3 so that the court can see it? Where in relation to this, we obviously see the small evidence tent on the top picture. Where was Sean found in relation to this picture?
This photograph,
Go ahead.
this photograph is facing west. Sean was just north of this, so he's laying down, which would be like right here.
Gotcha.
So
Okay. In terms of distance, are we talking feet, yards?
so he's probably within 10, 15 feet of where this evidence tent is to the north.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I'm sure you might have found some other things that appeared to be of relevant interest to you. Do you recall anything in particular that was found at the scene?
So from right there, there's also a bike, that was in our takeoff area. There was footballs, there was a tennis shoe.
Okay. As far as the bike goes, did you end up taking that into evidence?
I did not.
Okay. Any particular reason why you didn't?
At the time, I didn't find enough information. I didn't want to listen to the bike.
Okay. All right. But you did mark it and you did photograph it. Okay. All right. After you collect all the evidence there in this, is it fair to call it a courtyard?
Yeah.
Okay. Does your attention get diverted to a different place nearby?
Yeah, at a certain point, I got a call to the radio about a sweatshirt that was possibly discarded by the suspect in a dumpster.
Okay. Do you have any idea who's calling this information in?
I don't.
Okay. Nonetheless, you get this information. What do you do with it?
I drive the evidence fence and I drive over to the dumpster that's pointed out to me at the southeast corner of Village Lane.
Okay.
And inside there, I see a flat.
Is this in the same complex area that Mr. Longoria was found in?
It's a different complex. So it's these complex just south of Village Road.
Okay. In terms of if you had to run to this dumpster, how long is it going to take you?
Running in there, so
Okay. So it's not terribly far.
I drove there in like 20 seconds.
Okay. You go to the dumpster. What do you find inside the dumpster?
The food had recently been empty because there's only like 5 or 6 bags of trash in there, maybe like one box. And kind of between like a box and a couple of trash bags, the black hoodie sweatshirt.
Okay. And did you photograph it? And did you mark it? What evidence tent did you mark it with?
With them again.
Okay. And so was that purposeful or inadvertent? Okay. Because that's the same tent that you marked the casing with. Okay. I'm going to approach with what's been marked as people's proposed 5 and 6. If I may.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, Sergeant Montgomery, I've handed you what's been marked as people's proposed exhibits 5 and 6. Do you recognize each of those items?
I do.
And turning your attention first to exhibit 5, what's that?
That is a photograph inside the dumpster where I observed and collected the black hoodie.
And then exhibit 6?
That is the hoodie I collected.
Okay, and it's similarly, that was taken after the fact over probably at the forensic department?
Yes. I did not take number 6, I did take number 5.
But that is still nonetheless a fair and accurate copy of the hoodie that you collected from the dumpster.
It is.
Your Honor, unless there's any objection or voir dire into it, I'm going to move to admit people's exhibits 5 and 6.
Any objection or voir dire?
No objection, Your Honor.
Exhibits 5 and 6 are admitted.
And if you could just help us and show for the court where exactly on that exhibit 5 is the sweatshirt is located.
You see the little red right there, that's in the top of the hood, but it's between these 2 bags, and between that. Got it. And marks of it is between all that.
Okay. Your Honor, if I may have just a moment.
You may.
Okay. Sergeant Montgomery, thank you. I don't have any other questions for you at this time.
Cross-examination.
Sergeant, what was that sweatshirt put in that dumpster?
I can't tell you.
This area, is it fair to say this apartment complex is frequented by kids?
Hi.
No prior experience with this apartment complex?
A few times, most of my time spent on this year.
Okay. How many units are in this apartment complex?
I have no.
Okay. The bike that you found, did you ever ascertain who that bike belonged to? Was that bike fingerprinted or tested for DNA? No further questions, y'all.
All right. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Sergeant, thank you.
Did you want the exhibits, Your Honor?
I did. Yes, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Deputy Allen.
People call Detective Heather Morrison to the stand.
All right. Detective, please come forward and be sworn.
So I'm sworn to affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yeah. C, state your first and last name for the record.
Detective Heather Morrison, EPA here.
You may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, how are you currently employed?
I'm a detective at the Washington County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you worked with the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office?
Since August 2006, so for 19 years.
And how long have you been a detective with the Sheriff's Office?
Since 2012.
Okay. At some point, were you made what's known as the officer in charge of the homicide investigation where the victim was a Sean Longoria?
So,
Okay. Were you the original officer in charge on that case?
Detective Boyden.
Okay. And at some point, was that when he retired, you became the officer in charge?
That's
Okay. As the officer in charge in this case, are you responsible for submitting items to the Michigan State Police Crime Lab for evidence processing? Okay. And if you get results back on items that you sent for testing, do those go to you as the officer in charge?
Yes, the lab report.
Okay. Specifically, Detective Morrison, are you aware if the this hooded sweatshirt that Detective Montgomery just testified to was sent to the Michigan State Police Crime Lab for DNA testing?
Yes.
Okay. And Detective Morrison, are you aware if there was a known buccal swab taken of the defendant Daniel Franklin?
Yes.
Okay. And would that have been sent along with that?
Yes, the sweatshirt was sent first. It was tested and there's viable DNA. I pulled it out, out of the area of the sweatshirt. Later on, I contacted Mr. Franklin with the detention, and I took his buccal swab, authorized for DNA.
Okay. And then you submitted that known buccal swab to the state police lab. Okay. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm handing you what I marked as People's Exhibit 7. Detective Morrison, can you identify that?
This is Michigan, Police Project Science Lab, 1128.
Is that a report that you received as the officer in charge on this case in response to the DNA analysis of that hooded sweatshirt?
That's correct.
People would move to admit Exhibit 7 into evidence, Your Honor, pursuant to court rule.
Any objection or order?
No objection, Your Honor.
Exhibit 7 submitted.
May I approach in public or Detective Morrison, based on your reading of that report, People's Exhibit 7, was there any conclusion made by the Michigan State Police Lab with respect to the DNA testing of this hooded sweatshirt recovered by Detective Montgomery?
Yes, on the one, press swab, Daniel Franklin's DNA is, on that cup and also on the right cup sleeve, both going 35 times more likely to the left cup and 35 times to the.
And I realize, Detective Morrison, you are not a crime lab DNA analysis, and I know they make their own quantitative analysis, but that is your reading of the report that you received in response.
Right.
Your Honor, may I approach and publish to the court?
Yes.
Thank you. And as well, Detective Morrison, to your knowledge, was there a post-mortem examination or an autopsy done on Mr. Longoria in I believe it was the day after, the day after that the homicide took place?
That's correct.
And again, as the officer in charge, you received a copy of that post-mortem examination report?
Yes. It was in the file.
Your Honor, and I believe this would be by stipulation between Mr. Franklin's attorney in our office that we would be stipulating to the admission of the post-mortem examination report in this case, which would be People's Exhibit 8.
That's true, Your
All
Honor.
right. Exhibit 8 is admitted by stipulation.
May I approach and publish that to the court?
Yes, sir.
June 22nd, 2022. Deputies respond to reports of a gunshot victim at the Village Grove Apartments. A young man lies bleeding in the grass.
Oh,
And just so the record is clear, Detective Morrison, that autopsy report that's now been admitted as People Exhibit 8, the individual that report is the same victim we've been testifying regarding, Mr. Sean Longoria.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, people have no further questions, Your Honor.
any cross-examination?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Detective, going back to People's Exhibit number 7, is it true that Mr. Franklin's DNA was not the only DNA found on that sweatshirt? Okay. Is it true that there was other male DNA found on that sweatshirt as well? Did you ever do anything to ascertain which males that DNA belonged to?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What did you do to ascertain which?
There's another individual with Franklin, the day of homicide, who took his DNA. We also took DNA from Armand Evans. And because Armand Evans had testified or provided information that that was his sweatshirt that he had given to Daniel and to Darren.
Okay.
And they're all probably the same associated for the property.
All right. So you received information that this sweatshirt may have been passed among members of an association, and I'm just gonna call it a gang, what it is. You believe 23 Mafia to be a gang, correct?
100%.
Okay, so you received information that this sweatshirt had been passed along members of the same gang. And there's unidentified DNA on that sweatshirt.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it also true, you were officer in charge of this case, correct?
Yes, I am.
So you've had opportunity to review all the police reports. It's also true that there were Snapchat accounts belonging to members of this same gang that seemed to take credit for this shooting.
I don't recall seeing anything of anybody taking credit, but I do know that there's lots of social media accounts that make reference to this homicide and to a lot of the other homicides that happen here in Washington.
None of those social media accounts belong to Mr. Franklin, correct?
Zeno's account made reference to that.
Zeno's account made reference to which homicide?
To the trauma.
Who is Malik Word?
Person whose name came up in initially in the investigation, but was part of the
Okay, but that account read, if you remember, body for body, y'all out here catch attempts, me and my N-word pills get the job done. You remember that post?
I don't remember that specific.
Was seeing it refresh your recollection?
Sure.
You know, approach the witness.
That is, and that is Mr. Ward's Instagram post, yeah.
Okay.
Or his account. I don't know if he actually posted that or not.
Absolutely, and that's fair. Were you able to ascertain who was being referred to as pills?
There's Phil.
Yep. Okay. Then who did you believe the account at 23 Mafia _00 belonged to?
At some point, I believe that account belonged to Armand.
Okay. And were you aware of the post, check on your mans? I heard he got hit in his head. Parentheses, hello.
Yeah, so Armand is friends and close friends with him.
Were you believe to be close friends?
Oh,
Okay. And did you get Armand Evans' DNA?
yes, I did.
Okay. And he was tested.
He was tested and came back.
Okay. And just to be clear, the owner of the sweatshirt, DNA was not on the sweatshirt as well, correct?
Correct. At that time, yeah.
And Darion Webb. Are you familiar with a Darion Webb?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Webb made posts that you believe referenced this Longoria shooting on his Snapchat.
There's possibility there's like
Okay. So is it fair to say that in the course of your investigation, it's possible that individuals could have commented on this homicide that had nothing to do with it?
with Mr. Franklin?
Well, people commented on this homicide via Snapchat, correct?
That's correct.
You don't believe that everybody that commented on this homicide via Snapchat had something to do with the homicide. Right. But Sean, and disrespect came from Sean Longoria. Right. But any member of 23 Mafia could potentially felt disrespected by Sean Longoria, correct? Okay. The weapon that was believed to been used in this homicide, was that ever recovered?
Yes.
Okay. Was that tested for DNA?
I don't know if it was tested for DNA. Well, actually, I don't believe it was tested for DNA because it's been out on the street and was recovered, off Joseph Coward, after a foot chase. It was technically tested on, and it's currently at MSP right now getting the full, exam done.
Okay. Now, this matter, this is not the first time Mr. Franklin had been charged in regards to this matter, correct? Okay. This case was dismissed due to lack of evidence. If you know why.
I don't know if that's the legal terminology.
Right. In between the last time this matter was brought and now, you continued your investigation?
Okay.
Okay. Was part of that be interviewing or working with a cooperating witness?
Yes.
Okay. That cooperating witness, you interviewed him how many months after the Longoria killing?
Case, and then we had a second interview, which was officially before the sheriff's office once Steve had volunteered to disclose the information that he testified.
Okay, when was that? When was your first meeting with him?
I don't know the exact date.
Okay. Well, we know the feds, they don't record or document their interviews. That's something that, you know, a lot of attorneys have complained about, including the presidents. But that complaining witness, did he offer any new information, in your opinion, to this investigation other than his claims of what Mr. Franklin told him?
Yes, but he had personal knowledge of the house that Mr. Franklin used to be associated with the Jaden Harris. He had information regarding what happened with the gun after and the.
Okay, let's back up. Many people would have known who Mr. Franklin was staying with, correct? Potentially anybody in his family.
I have no idea.
Okay. So, and secondly, the information he gave you about who had the gun, was that before or after the individual with the gun had been arrested?
That was after the.
Exactly. And this was after Mr. Franklin had been initially arrested and released by police? Or was this before? Was this interview before or after Mr. Franklin had been arrested and then released on this matter?
So Mr. Franklin was arrested, I came forward, but Mr. Franklin has been in custody for the homicide of Alonzo Valley this entire time. He has a federal.
Okay. So now we've talked about the location in which Mr. Franklin was living. We talked about who had the gun that was used in this. What other information did he allegedly provide that you believe to have been new at that time?
Nothing.
I think no further questions, y'all.
Redirect.
I have no redirect, John.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, we may step down.
People have no further witnesses and people address.
All right. Any witnesses for the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Do I have a motion?
All right, at this time, people would move to bind the defendant over as charged on the complaint that is before the court. Based on the testimony previously heard of Mr. Tubb Smith, today's testimony, the people believe that we have met our burden of proof to a probable cause standard. The defendant did commit this homicide of Sean Longoria back in June of 2022. And asked this matter to be brought over to circuit court for further proceedings.
That's the question. Find this not over. But I think to cut right to the chase of it, it really depends on whether or not by probable cause you believe the testimony of Mr. Tubb Smith. One of the things that I hate about, this system is the government can bribe a witnesses for their testimony. And that's essentially what has occurred here. A witness has been giving something of value to testify, and it has an extreme value. The court heard his testimony about the mandatory minimums that he was facing. The court heard the testimony about, jail culture and what happens with cooperators or snitches from the witness's own mouth in this case. And what is special and unique about this agreement is, as the witness has admitted, not only when you look at his paperwork, there's no indication that he's a cooperating witness in an ongoing investigation. But the trick is, and I don't, of course, familiarity with federal court. The federal courts don't lose jurisdiction of a defendant once they're sentenced like state court does. That judge keeps the jurisdiction. Mr. Tubb Smith can go back at any time and ask for time off his sentence. So he can serve all the way up until the last 4 or 5 years of his sentence, and then come back with his cooperation agreement and the letter from the results of that cooperation and ask for that reprieve. So it allows him, the way the deal is structured, allows him to remain in federal custody for a very long period of time without it being record that he's a cooperating witness. So that has value. And the court heard, the amount of drugs and weapons and just conduct that that caught, this case. And I understand, both sides, we tend to have to call witnesses that we probably wouldn't hire, that we probably wouldn't let in our home, that we wouldn't hang out with. And, that's the nature of the system. But all those things, I think the court should take into consideration with determining this witness's credibility. This witness, in his opinion of defense, offers nothing to this court that we don't believe was common knowledge. Where Mr. Franklin lived would have been common knowledge amongst members of the family. Who had been arrested with the gun, we believe amongst members of the street would have been known, would have been common knowledge. The only other thing connecting Mr. Franklin to this alleged offense is the sweater found in the dumpster that had numerous male DNA on it, and admittedly had been passed among members of this, alleged gang. So there's nothing, so that sweater being found there doesn't make it, in my opinion, probable that Mr. Franklin was there as opposed to anybody else on that particular day of time. Mr. Longoria, however the court feels about the alleged motive behind what had happened here, Mr. Longoria, knew what he was doing and knew what he was saying when he said what he said. And there would have lots of people who would have been offended by that statement. Lots of people who have a motive to take the life of Mr. Longoria, as ridiculous as it may be to take somebody's life for that reason. The motive didn't belong solely to Mr. Franklin. As indicated by the detective, he wasn't even the one that was directly insulted, Your Honor. So we'd ask the court to not bind this matter over.
Your Honor, I would just say that Mr. Tubb Smith's testimony as the focus of Mr. Johnson's argument, candidly, he was very forthright. And I'm not vouching for his credibility, but I think that he, upon cross-examination of what crimes he was convicted of, the sentence he was facing, and the fact that he is cooperating, he didn't try to hide the ball in any of those. We've been very, very upfront about his level of cooperation with that cooperation is. He was very upfront about the fact that he was engaged in high-level drug dealing, lack of a better term. But all of those are questions for the trier of fact. They would make the ultimate credibility decision. And I don't believe there was anything in Mr. Tubb Smith's testimony that would give this court such concern over his credibility to disregard his testimony. And so I believe that this matter should be found over.
Court, looking at all of the testimony in this case and listening and reviewing all of the exhibits, find that as to the charge of homicide, the people have indeed sustained their burden of showing by probable cause that this offense was committed, this defendant committed it. Most notably for the court is the way in which the killing of Mr. Longoria was tied to. There were a couple of things and it relates then to the testimony of Mr. Tubb Smith. But as they tied together, what we have is we have an individual that was shot, that was killed. There was then the bike that was in the area. Part of then what ties this defendant to that location is this sweatshirt and the like. And you take all of that, and that in and of itself, you have certainly the crime there. But then you have the statement as testified to by Mr. Tubb Smith of this defendant saying that he had killed someone, described the particular area that he did it. And although it not being taken into custody, I think the police, or taken into possession as evidence, the police indicate why, but something that was photographed was the bike. So it was very descriptive in terms of what, as relayed by Mr. Tubb Smith, that Mr. Franklin had indicated to him. This court does believe that that is sufficient, certainly enough, that this defendant should stand trial on that charge. With reference, and I don't know that there was a stipulation to, well, the court, there doesn't need to be a stipulation, excuse me, that also that this was committed by use of a firearm. And so therefore, the court would find that the people have sustained their burden as to both counts and would bind the defendant over to stand charge on those counts.
I do have a copy of the information.
I do. As to the reading in Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, we wait for my reading and stand mute.
Thank you. Defendant have way for a reading standing mute. Court will enter a not guilty plea as to both counts. Pre-trial in this matter will be set for
October 8th at 1:30.
October 8th, 2025, 1:30 before Judge Conlon. Bond will continue as denied. Thank you. Thank you. You did those exhibits. There are photos. All right. Huh?